But as you know, if you have been diagnosed HIV positive, you start medication immediately. And in due course, your virus becomes undetectable in the blood. And therefore, you don't transmit HIV. And let's teach ourselves that. If you are HIV positive, take your drugs. And to keep you fit, at the same time, you won't transmit. But still, use condom. I'll just say that HIV is still rising. Let's not be complacent. People think now HIV is ending. Yes, would like it end by 2030. And when we say HIV is ending in 2030, we simply mean that it will not become a public health danger. Using science, using the community, people living with HIV, and using leadership. That's why the leaders are here, the first ladies are here. UN system is here, the chiefs are here, the academicians, all those are leaders. We think that this is a very good platform.
Thank you very much. Thank you. My name is Priscilla Ama-Ado, a young person from Ghana, working to elevate the voices of young people in the HIV movement and SRHR. As a young person, it is an honor to be here. ICASA has always been a mirror. It reflects who we are, where we have come from, and where we must go. It reminds us that the HIV response in Africa has never been sustained by institutions alone, but by people, by you and me, by communities who refuse to accept what the world told them as impossible. Africa's journey through the HIV epidemic is one of the most remarkable collective actions in modern health and in public health. To every government represented in this room, we cannot fight what we do not detect, and we cannot detect what we do not invest in. The fight against AIDS is barely beginning, and I believe Africa is ready. We are ready. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the goal of ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030 remains within reach, but only if we act with urgency, solidarity, and determination. As we open ICASA 2025, let us commit to closing the treatment gap decisively, dismantling stigma and discrimination, strengthening domestic financing, protecting the rights and dignity of all people living with HIV.
Eastern and Southern Africa have achieved treatment and viral suppression gains one thought beyond reach. Botswana Gold Tier certification for eliminating mother-to-child transmission reminds us that ending AIDS, it's happening. Yet, too many are still being left behind. Adolescents, young women, sex workers, men having sex with other men, and incarcerated population. ICASA gives us the space to face these inequalities, honesty, and to build a system that protects rights, dignity, and access for all. Africa's next steps are clear. We need wider access to innovative prevention tools, stronger domestic financing, expanded local manufacturing, modern data and surveillance, and cross-sector collaboration through the One Health approach.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, friends of the HIV movement, I stand before you not simply to talk about AIDS, important as that is, but to talk about Africa's future and the choices, the courage, the convictions that will determine whether our children will inherit a continent of health and dignity or one of inequality, preventable illnesses, and unfulfilled dreams. Ours is the continent with the highest HIV burden in the world. We are only 19% of the world's population here in Africa, but we make up 65% of the total number of people living with HIV globally. More than half of the people waiting for treatment live here on this continent. More than half of all the new infections every year happen here in Africa. Yet we have the science, the tools, the knowledge that's needed to end AIDS. AIDS is no longer a medical challenge. Ending AIDS is a political choice. Here are the three choices we as African leaders can make to put us there. One, we can choose to resource the HIV response adequately. Two, we can choose to protect the rights of our people so that they can access safely HIV services that they need. And three, we can choose to seize new innovations, exciting new innovations, and secure Africa's health sovereignty.
Young people, especially adolescent girls and young women, account for a disproportionate share of new infections. Stigma and discrimination remain barriers to testing, disclosure, and adherence. And then comes the difficult test, financing. With global support shrinking, Africa must refuse to let her hard-earned gains unravel. This is our chance to be bold, to rethink, redesign, and rebuild a sustainable financial foundation for the next generation of health security. Distinguished delegates, if Africa is to end AIDS, and I understand, I agree with you, we can end it, we must lead our own response. We must strengthen domestic financing, build regional pharmaceutical manufacturing capacity, enhance disease surveillance and laboratory systems, and empower communities and civil society organizations.